Welcome, 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 everyone. Next is Gaming Series. I'm your host, DB Smiley, as we head into this match between House of Chez and Zul'jin Distillery. D East Semifinals winner moves on to the Division East Finals to take on Probus, who upset 2 Calculated to Throw in the semifinal earlier this week. With that, Zul'jin Distillery and House of Chez both been around NGS for a while. Zul'jin Distillery, quite a long time. Kind of a disappointing season for them. Just in terms of placement in the standings, you can take a quick look here and see that, they're down at 7th, but they managed to pull that upset. They were in a 3-way tie for 5th, so I think officially they were the 6th seed, but they managed to pull the upset over the 3 seed at the time, Church of Murky, in order to move into this game. Winner of this, of course, moving on to the Division D East final. That should be D East. Seems that particular feature not working. There we go. But back into the draft, already see some bans. ETC Kael'thas banned out by House of Chez. Zul'jin Distillery banning out Vala and Joanna. House of Chez doing a lot with Vala Ariel this season. Ariel definitely still available here to be picked, but we are going to see Diablo as the first choice, getting that potential burst blow up. Right out of the gate, though, you get a generally pretty good counter to Diablo in the form of Garrosh, in the form of Stukov. And so with that, I want to say the Garrosh is a good counter. Stukov himself, not a particularly good counter to Diablo. In fact, can be countered out by Diablo because of the single target burst potential he brings. Though, of course, that's been reduced with some of the recent patches. So with that, though, we are seeing now Phoenix and Falstad going to be the choice. Global's very valuable on this map. So going to have that global Falstad able to fly around the map, played by Shezmix. Mariners jumping on to Phoenix for just the ability to kind of throw out some auto attack damage, pressure up Garrosh. That said, Stukov can go biotic armor and reduce a lot of the damage these heroes put out. Hello, chat, indeed. Thanks for coming, 8-Bit. Hope you enjoy. Uther banned out, so kind of a secondary tank, but also with that armor can really punish Garrosh separation by just keeping the person alive who gets separated. We are seeing a Leoric banned out as well.
I'm here to help.
And we're going to get Jaina and Raynor. So Jaina going to be excellent at following up off the Garrosh flip. They need some kind of secondary CC to follow up to keep the target there. Jaina can provide that with slows, but it would help to see something like a Blaze come out, or maybe even something like off-tank ETC can be very doable.
Reckoning is at hand.
There you see the Tyrael and the Deckard. So Tyrael will be able to help shield anyone who gets flipped. Also, the Sanctification could be used to cheese an objective. That might be why we saw the Uther banned out earlier. Dahaka gonna come in. He can work with the Garrosh. The one issue with that combo is that both Dahaka and Garrosh have to walk into the enemy team to get an engage. And without something to help them do that, it's going to be difficult. Jaina can help with the slows. If they can get into the engage, they have fantastic separation potential. But approaching this Deckard, approaching this Falstad, approaching this Tyrael, that's going to be difficult. That said, definitely going to make Diablo question his engage choices. But we'll see how this goes. Deckard, meanwhile, Vulnerable to poke damage. His healing throughput is not super high. You mostly take him for the CC. That said, Stukov lacks a cleanse, so does Deckard. So could be a potential situation where there's a lot of focus on separation and blow up in this game. But here we go now, moving into the match. House of Chez versus Zul'jin Distillery. Game 1 of the Division D East semifinal. Go ahead and introduce the teams. On the left, we have my player pop-ups not working. Let's try that again. As I said on the left, Flash is going to be on Tyrael. We're going to have Caribou doing a little dance on Deckard. Mariner on Phoenix. Death 1300 on Diablo. And Shezmek's going to be on Falstad. On the right for Zul'jin Distillery, it's going to be DeWitt on Garrosh. Ankle Shot on Jaina. Be Fresh on Raynor. Cowboy Kyle on Morales. No, that's not correct. Cowboy Kyle on Dahaka. Silly Smiley. And LED going to be on Stukov. Level 1 talents. There's some separation onto Diablo, but a big root there by Deckard, who did take the talent to boost his spell power off Field of Study. So brief period of 40-second power, 40% up power, and you can see provides quite a big healing chunk. Good root. No kills there. Garrosh staying mid. Raynor looking like he might stay mid as well. Rotation coming down was looking at Stukov, but didn't really want to pull the trigger that close to the tower here at level 1. Stukov going with the Spine Launcher, and it's an exceptionally good tool at poking down any kind of squishy flank or diver. It can make Phoenix or Falstad's life pretty miserable, but it can also chunk fairly well into the Tyrael and even the Diablo. As we see right now, Sapper is going to get picked up here on the side of Zul'jin Distillery. Flash, going to check this out. There's the flip combo by Garrosh. Well executed. Spine Launcher coming out, but Tyrael manages to Eldrin's Might out of there, and now it's a 3v4 situation. Stukov trying to drop the silence to slow the engage, but here comes a root onto Stukov, and now he may be in a bit of trouble. Raynor steps up onto the flank. Death 1300 trying to stop Stukov from escaping. Now Diablo a bit low, and he's going to get flipped by the Garrosh, and Jaina and Stukov going to chunk him out. Raynor trying to get onto the chase, and Raynor manages to pop off Diablo. The first kill of the match, heading over to Zul'jin Distillery, looking for their second playoff upset here. And now they're going to go ahead and immediately turn this into a Sapper steal. And so we have a pretty exciting start now as Stukov jumping right in. You can see just the raw damage his auto attack does to Phoenix's shields. Kind of shows how small they can really be at the end of the day. But there we go. Good start. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Falstad Dahaka. This one fairly even. You'd expect Falstad to win it. That said, Falstad going with the stacking auto attack, so gonna need some time to get that ready. We are heading into the triple altar phase. We're gonna keep an eye on that. Looks like we're actually gonna see a commit by House of Chez onto the top shrines. They're gonna go ahead and let Jaina channel the bot, and they're gonna try to steal this channel top. Someone needs to get in and interrupt Mariner. Be Fresh gonna have to walk right past. Now getting stuck in the root, but here comes a 4v5 team fight. Jaina is not here yet. That said, for the moment, Zul'jin Distillery is staying alive, if only just. But with Jaina coming in on the flank, there's a big root, but the Unstoppable's there. Dahaka is low. Here comes the silence. Be Fresh on the flank in a bad spot, getting flipped by Diablo, and he's gonna get popped. And that should be House of Chez successfully stealing this top right altar. Just took a little bit too much damage there on the side of Zul'jin Distillery initially, and weren't really able to re-engage off it. Tanks split from their assassins. When Raynor flanks, he can be effective, but when Raynor has to flank and you know he's there, it's going to be a rough day for him. That said, you know, could be worse. You're only down 4, and as we know on this map, that first altar phase, it's very easy to overreact to it. doesn't really mean anything. Jaina stepping up very aggressively. Diablo looking for the engage off the slow. He wants to get the flip charge rather than the charge flip, and he does find it. Great, great use of the trait there. Bio kill switch by Stukov. Excuse me, forgot the name of the trait on my favorite hero. Strange times indeed, but good start here. Good reaction to that, and they managed to actually grab a kill of their own. Now they can rotate into their sappers. Falstad, Dahaka still up in the top. Falstad doing okay on stacking. He's more than 25% of the way there. I'd say like 27% of the way there, 27.5. Towards that quest. And we get a random taunt there. Someone challenging me to a Stukov fight, I guess. But Garrosh stepping up very aggressively, trying to look for the engage, misses his charge. Has not, to my knowledge, pulled the trigger on the flip yet, so waiting for the opportunity to get that flip charge. Possibly looking at Diablo, no, backs off. We do have bottom shrines. Falstad has started to fly down and is actually going to go for the channel. Dahaka, meanwhile, channel towards the bottom. And so I do think that Falstad's going to get that channel uninterrupted. The question now really comes down to this team fight. And at the moment, it's fairly even. The overall health bar is a bit higher on the side of House of Chez. Be Fresh once again separated from the rest of the team. He's going to get attacked. Tyrael gets the tongue. The question is, will he be able to get away? The heal does come in from the potions. Big root. Tyrael does drop, but Garrosh may have a hard time getting out of this. Garrosh does get the heal from Stukov. Looks like he might survive for now. Cowboy Kyle moving aggressively, but in that whole time, Mariners rotated down and grabbed the tribute. So now a big 12-point lead here for House of Chez. Good showing there by Zul'jin Distillery, but just not quite able to pull that trigger in terms of getting that kill in time. And it was a good stall 4v5 to make sure Falstad could get it. There's a flip onto Phoenix. There's the tongue. And he gets away. Just barely gets the teleport off time. Silence from Led just a little bit late. He is low on mana. Would probably be a good time for him just to Hearth. And indeedly doodly, that is what he's doing. Raynor, meanwhile, pushing up this top lane, looking for level 10 for his team. Dahaka down here in the mid, starting to rotate up with Falstad. Raynor should look to rejoin the team. Level 10s are here. Sapper Invasion could come with this level 10, though the advantage is dwindling here. Not much time left on it. We see Warlord's Challenge, Isolation, Ring of Frost, Massive Shove. Raynor has not picked an ultimate yet. But they don't really do anything here with the level 10s, so should be picked up soon, and there really wasn't anything. Now DeWitt checking very aggressively, going to get dismounted, now potentially in a bit of a risky position, but team going to be there. Sapper's grabbed. Level 10's on the other side. Raynor's still holding his, but we got Judgment over Sanctification, and Tyrael is going to get popped there. Flip into the silence. Down he goes. Dahaka burrows down now to help with this bottom shrine. But we are just going to see House of Chez, I think, rotate away from this. Do they go for the boss play? It's a risky play. They could, in theory, do it. Diablo's moving towards it, and looks like they're actually just going to play top sappers and try to get some equal push onto the top lane. Obviously, bot lane tends to be the more effective of the two lanes. Given that there's twice as many sappers to put in, but this should favor Zul'jin Distillery. That said, you know, with a 12-point lead, you get that death, you're still able to get some kind of value out of it to help continue to preserve this lead, so it's a fair trade. Bottom fort has been grabbed now. Let's see. Ooh, I don't like this rotation from Dahaka at all. I am shocked he was not punished by that. Maybe he still will be, no. I don't know why they didn't just charge into him. This fort's about to fall. Dahaka's in a very awkward position, but House of Chez is going to just back up, play this one safe. They're rotating down, actually now rotating over. DeWitt getting the flip stun, Once again, the target onto Tyrael. Here comes Ring of Frost, collects Tyrael. Tyrael drops, but a huge APOC hits Ford. Stukov getting popped. He's going to be down for a bit. Now Dahaka and Raynor get rooted. DeWitt getting flipped over by Diablo, helping him escape. Now tries to come back in with the flip charge, but doesn't find it, and he's going to die, but so is Faustad. Now it's Dahaka on the front line. He's getting isolated. Pops his essence, though. Raynor getting zoned out by the root. Cowboy Kyle just trying to find the emergency exit, and he does find it. So 2 for 2 trade at the moment. Stukov, Tyrael back up. Both heading for the objective. Cowboy Kyle stepping up very early. Caribou looking for the channel. Cowboy Kyle tries to get the interrupt, but he's just not able to do it. So there we go. And actually, because they saved their 4th top, that's going to be 5 shots in favor of House of Chez there. Oh no, they didn't get the channel. I'm sorry. There's a flip onto Diablo. Getting some damage out. Zul'jin Distillery taking some time, letting Stukov heal, and House of Chez is going to back up and give up 5 shots here. As we saw, 3 sappers were walked in bot, so that totals an 8-point swing there, thanks to having that bottom fort. So Zul'jin Distillery now pushing up to defend their spoils in this bot lane. Faustad could fly top and kill this fort pretty much at any time, the mines as they're called. But an invasion onto the sappers, this is the pretty standard strategy on this map. Get control of bot lane and then start working in those sappers. And of course you can always cheese a sapper over the wall with the Into the Fray. We'll see if Garrosh does that. But at this point, they don't really have a minion wave to soak this up. Stukov looking for the slow. Has the root combo available. Might look to try to execute on that. Garrosh now stepping up. There's a good massive shove. Is he going to cheese one over the wall? There's a flip onto Diablo. There's the Warlord's Challenge. Ring of Frost comes in. That's going to get Diablo down. A lot of tools burned there, but effectively so. Big focus there on the Stukov. Judgment, Hinterland's Blast being a common way to do that. That said, as soon as you don't get that kill, it puts you at a pretty big disadvantage here. There are more sappers on the way. Diablo is back up. That was Souls, but Faustad has dropped there. Tyrael trying to look for the kill with the sacrifice. But here, once again, the sappers are being pushed up. They managed to get one in. They killed Diablo, and that time he's going to be down for the count. That's going to be 28 more seconds in the penalty box here for Diablo. And Dahaka has burrowed top to already steal the first channel of the triple altar phase. Deckard should get in there to stall, but the rest of the team is rotating and on the way. And now this is an awkward situation because you really don't want to step up into a bush when there's a Garrosh on the other team. Garrosh going to throw Tyrael away, try to make sure Dahaka can get the channel. He does. There's a root combo onto Tyrael. Jaina, meanwhile, going to back channel, and that is Zul'jin Distillery. Going to get 12 shots off that. Counting the sapper in bottom, that's 13 shots. Counting the 8 earlier, that's 21 shots in a row for Zul'jin Distillery. And they have absolutely worked back into this game. Now, need to reconvert their tower top. Bottom has been converted. Could we see an attempt at some kind of sneaky boss play, or do we look at potentially an invade here? Faustad in an awkward spot. Tries to fly. Gets interrupted. Thrown under cannon tower. Unstoppable used there by Garrosh. House of Chez wanting to go over the wall. And there you see the combo. It's actually quite effective, all things considered. But a good Ring of Frost hits Tyrael. Can Cowboy Kyle get away? He's very low, but he does escape. So a 1-for-1 trade there at the moment. There's a flip onto Flash. Once again, focus continues to be onto Tyrael, but DeWitt is now under a tower and doesn't have his Unstoppable. He gets the shield off the Q. Will that be enough with the help of a heal from Stukov, it will be. So 1-for-1 trade. That said, they haven't converted their fort back, but here you see the combo. It's Judgment into Planet Cracker and Hinterland's Blast with the APOC, just trying to get that first kill and snowball from there. That said, the Ring of Frost has been very good here from Ankle Shot, so there's a chance to deal with that with the counter engage. Zul'jin Distillery wants this fort. They're going to grab it here, but a big root there will actually give Deckard some pretty big channel time. Ultimate's still not up here for House of Chez. And it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. So 4 shots going to each team. That's going to leave 7 to 20. So almost triple the points here for Zul'jin Distillery. But as we know, closing out on this map is the critical feat. Can you end the game by getting the kills you need, by getting the channels you need? We'll have to see. This is going to be potentially an invade down here. No, they're going to play safe. Rotate mid, potentially. Garrosh is about to walk into the middle of the enemy team, but there's a flip on the Falstad. Warlord's Challenge was there. Ring of Frost comes in. Tyrael goes down. The Planet Cracker doing so much damage. Great ice block there by Jaina, and she survives that as well as DeWitt. And that is 3 for nothing. DeWitt and Ankle Shot both managing to survive the onslaught there. And that will turn into a boss here. So 4 more shots, leaving just 3 shots on the core of House of Chez here in game number 1. Zul'jin Distillery making a statement here. Making a big one. They do grab the boss. That's going to be 20-3 at this point. I've seen bigger comebacks, believe it or not. I've seen bigger comebacks on this map. I have seen comebacks 1 point to 30. So, you know, you never know what happens. That said, this next team fight is a must-win for House of Chez. Already you see Garrosh in a good aggressive position. I don't like where Stukov is positioned, though. That said, obviously, Tyrael going to be the guy who procs off this fight. He's going to look for a judgment onto probably Stukov or Raynor. Here comes the combo. Judgment there onto Stukov. Sleep comes in as well. But Hinterland's Blast was not available to be used, and Phoenix died before Meme Beam could even be a factor. Falstad dies, trading out for Raynor. There's the root combo, gonna take out Tyrael. Now it's 2v4, and this might be the game. Diablo trying to get the death rattle kill onto Stukov, but he does survive through it. Caribou gonna be the last to fall. And Zul'jin Distillery is gonna take game number 1 here with a big win on Towers of Doom. House of Chez tried to run kind of that meme combo. Meme might come across as detrimental, but it is very much a we win a fight one way by executing one person. They weren't able to do it. The cooldowns of Hinterland's Blast, of Planet Cracker, not availing themselves every fight. And so we see here, it's ultimately going to turn into a win for Zul'jin Distillery. Goes up 1-0 in the series. House of Chez is going to have to come back, win 2 more if they're going to keep their playoff alive. Otherwise, season's going to be over for them. Right out of the gate, though, I mean, obviously, Jaina was just exceptional that game. I thought Ankle Shot's Ring of Frost absolutely won his team the game. I thought DeWitt played extremely well on the Garrosh. You know, Flash, he was kind of the sacrifice. He was the canary in the coal mine. He's the one who has to start the engages with the judgment and see what they can get. He managed to make it work once, but otherwise, just, I think the combo was a little bit too memey. I think Zul'jin Distillery shows that they can counter-engage very well with this Stukov, with this Jaina, with this Garrosh. And so we're going to need to see a better play out of House of Chez if they're going to make it to the Division C East Finals, or Division D East Finals, excuse me. But we'll be right back. We're going to take a brief break while we get set up for game number 2. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Welcome back, everyone, to Nexus Gaming Series. I am your host, DB Smiley, bringing you game number 2 here between House of Chez and Zul'jin Distillery. Zul'jin Distillery looked very good on map 1. Gave up some early ground to work on getting a positional advantage in the bottom. Got in a few sappers in bottom to help pay dividends and shorten the game a bit. Managed to turn it into a victory. House of Chez kind of went with something of a meme combo. Judgment setting up a bunch of beam walls, just trying to execute one target and go from there. But Zul'jin Distillery wasn't really having any of it. And so we'll see if House of Chez maybe plays a bit more vanilla this game. ETC Joanna bans, not surprising. Kael'thas and Vala, especially given House of Chez history. Vala ban, very much not surprising. Anubarak going to be the first choice here by Mariners. Garrosh Stukov, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sticking with that combo. And it worked well. I thought Led Stukov was very, very strong. What's the response going to be? Well, Dan Ariel. So going back to something a bit more in their wheelhouse in terms of team fighting. Ariel getting some buffs lately. But when I was casting House of Chez, they were playing Ariel well before that buff line came in, so definitely a hero Caribou's comfortable on. Flash, a good Gul'dan player as well. And given that these maps tend to be very long and sustainy and drawn out, I think that's a good combo to have. We are seeing the Arthas ban, something we've seen in the solo lane from House of Chez before. Jaina going to get banned out. Makes all the sense in the world. The Jaina was exceptionally effective for Zul'jin Distillery on that last match. Ankle shot. Had some just incredible Rings of Frost. In terms of mages, that does leave up Orphea, who could follow up with some burst off of Garrosh. Technically Ming as well. Ming can be actually decent into the Ariel, preventing her from stepping up easily and getting some attacks. We're going to see the Mephisto, though, so once again, going with more of a sustain focus, and then the Rainer. Once again, I'll say, you want something in that kind of off-tank position that can follow up on DeWitt's flips. They did well with it last time with the Jaina, but especially now that there's Mephisto, who does not have anything really outside of his ultimate.
Glory to the Horde.
We're going to see Tychus Thrall. I'm a bit worried about Thrall and Uberak being the front line, as they're both relatively low health compared to some others in the game. They are both reasonably mobile, though. But that's that Garrosh does have Unstoppable to deal with their stun combo. Tychus, always a good pick into the Garrosh, getting the percent damage to bypass his armor. Rexxar going to be the last pick. Rexxar could follow up. Okay. Could have a Misha charge off the flip combo, as well as that would put Rexxar in a good position to chunk out some auto attack damage. So we'll see how well that works. But right now, obviously, this is game number 2 in a best of 3 series, and as a result, This is must win for House of Chez. This could be the last game of their season if they don't come back and play a bit more organized, a bit better than we saw in the last series. But I'm excited for it. So here we go now. Moving into this map. And this map, I haven't seen it that much this season. I've seen it more than Braxis. That much is true. We'll see how it goes as we move here into the match. As we go to introduce both teams. On the left, House of Chez looking to get back into the series with a victory. And I don't have any of the right heroes. Oops. Don't have any of the right heroes, so I'll just introduce them the old-fashioned way. Death 1300 is going to be on Tychus. Chesmic's going to be playing Thrall. Mariner's going to be on Anub'arak. Flash going to be on Gul'dan. And coming up the rear, Caribou is going to be on Ariel. It is House of Chez looking to end this series and make their way to the Division C, or D East Finals, excuse me. Going to be B-Fresh on Raynor. Led going to be on Stukov. Ankle Shot on Mephisto. DeWitt going to be on that Garrosh, and Cowboy Kyle is going to be on the Rexar. So taking a look here at the start of this game, level 1 talents. Seeing a Corruption build, going to be the choice out of the Gul'dan. They're already going to find some stacks there. There's a flip onto Mariner, who has Burrow charged in, but with the Beetles going to be able to survive for the time being. Raynor and Rexar had already split the lane, so not enough follow-up damage to really make anything happen there. They're all going to rotate down here, but Raynor should be able to hold his own in this lane for the time being. Meanwhile, Tychus having to deal with Rexar. It's going to be a tough matchup, but he can do it. Still in this middle, this is the focus. This is the wedge that House of Chez is going to want to use to open up the game. That Ariel Gul'dan, who are actually now rotating towards the bottom. Siege Camp going to get picked up here by Zul'jin Distillery, but the focus now is on to B-Fresh. Not able to get that stun into the turret. It was Caribou, so B-Fresh can just sit back safely and poke at the moment. DeWitt is going to rotate down, just pressure up, slow down the rotation back to mid. Ariel and Gul'dan looking like they're going to move into the camp. Garrosh rotating back up towards this mid lane. There you see, doing the camp now, but given the timing, it means it's unlikely they'll be able to do their camp again before the objective phase is up, which means we could see a macro advantage here for Zul'jin Distillery in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Raynor Thrall still kind of neutral in bottom. Raynor starting to get a little bit of an edge with that poke damage. Stukov silencing the wall, trying to give their siege camp enough time to reduce some armor. Mephisto going to step out, chunk out some good damage there, but Ariel going to be able to heal it back up pretty quickly. But doing a lot of damage here to this mid wall. Not able to get a tower yet, but still, that mid wall very softened up for a potential cavalry wave. So far, Prison Camp going to be in the top. Right now, just both teams managing to kind of deal with each other. Siege Camp starting to push up here on the side of House of Chez, but Zul'jin Distillery managed to clean it up. Do we get a pick-off attempt here onto Raynor? And it looks like we do, and more than an attempt, this looks downright probable at the moment. Raynor does go down, so we'll deny a bit of soak here to the side of Zul'jin Distillery. That said, Mephisto, Stukov could start this camp now. Garrosh going to come down, get that soak, but this is actually a good strategy here. Just say, hey, look, we're just going to push up this wall, try to get as much of it down as we can, make it harder for our opponents. Rexar has taken the channel using Misha. That's one of the nice things about Rexar on this map, is his ability to really solo channel. He is going to be able to walk away from this as well. Camp being finished now. Stukov and Mephisto have finished up the camp. So now both teams going to start to focus here onto the objective. Gul'dan trying to clear up this mid lane so the camp can't get as much value. Stukov going to throw his silence down just to make him back up for a bit, but Stukov is a bit separated from the rest of the team now. Needs to not be the only one down here wave clearing if he is going to do that. DeWitt trying to look for someone to separate, but just having a hard time. Really good response here by House of Chez. Not stepping up, not giving them any advantage. That said, they managed to have the team separated. There's a combo onto Anubarak. Mephisto on the chase, gonna do some good damage. Raynor starts to go for this channel, gonna get interrupted by Gul'dan over the wall with the corruption, but he's not gonna be able to do it again, and there's a great silence, and that's gonna secure 2 kills. Thrall and Ariel going down there. And that's what happens when you try to stall over the wall like that. Now the focus on the flash, but DeWitt taking so much damage, and he's going to drop. Ankle shot, trying to get the finish, not able to do so. So Garrosh drops right before the objective is won, but this is Zul'jin Distillery's objective. Let's see how they play this. Rexxar going to head towards the top lane. Raynor, Mephisto, Stukov heading in towards this mid lane. Because they managed to get some value with that camp. Hi, A-Fish. How you doing? So already the minion wave cleared up. That said, Mephisto going to get the damage boost under this cavalry. And DeWitt stepping up as well. Great knockback from Ariel to prevent the double Warbreaker stun. DeWitt looking at the flank now. Is going to be able to slow DeWitt, but not going to be able to, or excuse me, Flash. But not able to get killed, but there is a good silence by Stukov. Mephisto follow-up. Gul'dan is going to survive it for the time being. DeWitt just keeping them zoned off, and this will be the mid fort going down. Turning our attention to bot lane. Raynor doing a good job here into Anubarak. Pushing up this bot lane, forcing Mariners back with his poke damage, excuse me. And this bottom fort is starting to get a bit low. Mariners just going to have to back off at this point. Not really able to step up into this Raynor. And if the bottom fort goes, that's going to be a big boon for Zul'jin Distillery, and it does. Are we going to see Rexxar try to solo this boss? It looks like we are. Rexxar going to try to sneak that boss up in the top lane. DeWitt running kind of a zone defense here, keeping the attention. Siege Camp was picked up. We are seeing a rotation, though, towards the top. Tyke is sniffing this out. He's going to rotate up. See Rexxar on this boss. Now, the question is, do they try to turn and take it? Raynor now starting to rotate up. I don't know if it's going to mid lane or if he's coming up the top. Looks like he's going to go to mid lane, chunk some damage there into Mariners, buy some time for this camp to push up. Meanwhile, up in the top, got something of a Mexican standoff here over this top boss, but both teams seeming to call an armistice there and just walk away from it. Rotation coming down towards this mid lane to deal with the camps. Garrosh, though, going to come in onto the flank, and he might be able to find Gul'dan. No, he went for the Warbreaker instead of the flip, so Gul'dan kind of saved a bit there by that choice, as I think he was very much able to be flipped. That said, playing a bit safe, Rexxar, all this while, is pushing this top fort down a bit, getting some damage onto it. We're heading now for a bottom shrine, and the nice thing about Rexxar showing top and showing that he was doing boss is this is going to, I think, force an overreaction here on the side of House of Chez. I bet they're absolutely convinced this boss is being done. And now that they're here, I guess they think like, alright, well, I guess we have to take this boss. But now you can just trade out. Rexxar and Raynor are going to come down towards the bottom as well. So both teams going to trade out a boss. I'd like to see, because you don't need everyone doing this, I'd like to see, frankly, Garrosh and one other getting the prisoner camp channel, since they know that the members are top. So far, not doing that. DeWitt here going to start working into these prison guards. Boss has been taken, so we are starting to get the rotation down from House of Chez. Here they come. Going to come through that bush. That's a good choke point. If Garrosh had the team there, they could step up and try to force it. But keep in mind, I mean, this boss, it's going to lose a lot of HP just working through the fort wall. The other boss going straight to keep wall. So it's a positive trade at the moment. Stukov, like to see him be a bit more discerning with when he's going to drop that silence there. Basically when there's a chance to kind of isolate someone. But At the moment, kind of once again, something of a Mexican standoff. Nobody really committing to a fight. Just both teams stalling out. But now, Gul'dan steps up. Gonna chunk out a fair amount of damage, but there's a separational throw. But a fantastic Crystal Aegis could potentially turn this around. Ooh, the ultimate interrupted by Mephisto. Misha in that Horrify is going to go down. Raynor goes down. Garrosh goes down. Mephisto might be the next to fall. He's just trying to buy some time for damage, but he drops. And so it's only Rexar and Stukov who managed to escape from this fight. Stukov not able to get the interrupt over the wall there. Gul'dan managing to secure that channel, so Chu on the other foot now. House of Chez with a bit of an opportunity. Fort lost in the top lane to that boss. In the bottom, keep wall down, so keep an eye. Those are the strong lanes now for each team. 14 seconds left to kind of get in here and try to make a fight happen. DeWitt is going to step up, try to give a chance for Stukov the channel on the backside. There's the separation. Here comes the taunt. Silence there into the back, but Stukov is going to drop. Gul'dan drops immediately after Aegis. Tychus gets killed by Misha there. That said, 2-for-1 trade, but the objective is finished. And so, House of Chez going to have an opportunity in this top lane. Very pushed in, could be a focus for them. Need to see a member of Zul'jin Distillery go top declare. It looks like it'll be Mephisto doing that. Looks like it's going to be a focus on the mid lane here for the 3 remaining members of House of Chez. Caribou stepping up with Chez Mix. I don't know if the caster can see the crown, but he does not have the crown on Thrall at the moment, so we'll want to replace that. Rexar defending the mid. Anub'arak going very aggressive. Could look at the cocoon here. Does not pull the trigger onto the cocoon. Sacrifice of Misha to make sure that Rexar can get away. Stukov, ooh, a little bit of a miscommunication, but a great Horrify, and Stukov is dead as disco. Down goes Stukov. DeWitt, who is in cocoon, now kind of finding a rude awakening. Comes out of cocoon, says team where? That's 2 kills. Now let's see what House of Chez can do with that. Looks like they're going to pull back here at the moment. Big wave mid. They might want to pick that up, help themselves get to 16. As that is currently what the race condition is. Both bosses down. Another minute on top boss. So we're already going to see both teams take their siege camp. That'll be the focus here for the time being, is this mid lane. And still an advantage in this mid lane going over to Zul'jin Distillery. House of Chez, though, going to grab their camp, start pushing up in the mid. But it looks like Zul'jin Distillery just going to clear bottom. They recognize, hey, we're not winning the race to 16. Let's go ahead and try to soak it safely. But now actually coming back mid, saying, all right, maybe we don't want to give up our fort. Maybe we want to keep that catapult advantage in the mid lane. They are going to clear this camp up. Both teams actually going to roll over 16 at pretty much exactly the same time. Obviously a big spike whenever you have Gul'dan Auriel. So we'll keep an eye on that. As well as Tychus going with that overkill, trying to boost his single target damage. But here comes a flank from Garrosh. Flip stun. There's the taunt. Aegis has to be used. B-Fresh extremely low. Hyperion trying to peel out. Chesmix was going for Raynor, but now having to think better of it. Ult comes in from Mephisto. B-Fresh getting the heals from Stukov, going back in. They managed to grab Gul'dan, and that's a huge kill. Misha finding the stun on to Anub'arak. There's another stun there. This time Tychus, Chesmix, both very low. Misha getting thrown into the fight, looking for some kind of stun, some kind of re-engage, but it doesn't look like Zul'jin Distillery going to find it. And since they lost Raynor about the same time Gul'dan died, even trade at the moment. That said, Garrosh still looking, doesn't get the stun there. Cowboy Kyle gonna look for the channel, and he gets it. Stun not quite landing. Ooh, Ariel gonna get flipped behind the enemy team. There's the Warlord's challenge. And Ariel has a big heal, but the silence comes in. She still manages to get it off. Ankle shot dive for it, but now gonna have to back up DeWitt very low, but that's where you can see the armor just be very effective. Still getting away from this fight. Well, then trying to step up. 5v5 once again. Ooh, there's a good Sunder. Separates out Garrosh. He's going to try a massive shove. Not really doing a lot. Cocoon onto the back line. Onto Rexar. Going to enable the kill. Onto Mephisto there. And now Rexar going to wake up. Find himself in the middle of the enemy team. He is rooted and he is going to drop. Can Raynor and Stukov get out? Doesn't look like they're going to. Led and Bfresh trying to walk away. They do manage to get away. Going to drop the Hyperion just to stall this objective as long as they can, but this is a 2v3 at the moment, excuse me, as Thrall and Gul'dan doing the top as well as Ariel. And Stukov and Raynor have to know this is coming, so they're just going to go ahead clear up this top lane as much as they can so the boss does not have minions to push with. There will be a catapult coming with this next wave, or not a catapult, but the Reaver minion, excuse me. Functionally the catapult on this map, albeit a melee fighter. That said, 5 alive once again for Zul'jin Distillery. Rexar joining. They are going to go ahead and grab their mid camp. Meanwhile, bot lane is actually getting pretty stacked up here, and this keep very much in danger of falling with this Reaver minion here. So at this point, you can actually back up and just clear the boss, get the bottom keep, and then from there just say, alright, if we defend top keep for the next tribute, we're fine. Bottom keep has fallen. So you're going to get a Reaver minion every wave now. And actually, they kill the boss, left it up, but the keep will finish it with enough time to spare to walk up and look for this re-engage. There's the flip on the Tychus. Warlord's challenge. Once again, the Crystal Aegis comes out. There's the ultimate from Mephisto, but Tychus is going to be able to walk away. DeWitt taking so much damage. He gets the heal, though. He's still alive, and Raynor going to go down to the Draken Laser now. 4v5 at the moment. Anub'arak comes in with a big stun. Objective is finished. DeWitt is low. Anub'arak trying to walk away, but Misha going to get popped by the Draken Laser. And that Draken Laser just got massive value. Completely, pretty much ignored by Zul'jin Distillery there. And they ate just so much damage from it. Let's take a look at those damage numbers. Normally you'd expect, like, oh, okay, Gul'dan's going to be top damage dealer, you know, in this type of comp. But no, it's Tychus, and I think those Draken Lasers have really just had a lot to do with it. Possible flank coming in here. There's a root onto Garrosh. He's going to walk away. Mercenary camp being cleared top first, recognizing, hey, that's the lane that they're going to try to get an advantage. That's the lane that is the most damaged for us. Still looking for this flank engage. Doesn't find anyone on the stun. Misha going to be used to disengage for a bit. DeWitt tries to go for the flip, doesn't quite get it. Cavalry does fall. Mid-fort going to drop here in the interim. Bottom is pushing up, but still quite a ways to go before it's overly effective. But top lane has been defended, and if you're Zul'jin Distillery, you will take that to the bank. That said, are we potentially seeing a rotation to finish this camp off and trade out for the bottom clear? Bfresh stepping up, but it looks like, hey, you know what? We just have to give this up now. We don't want to fight at the moment. They have 20s. Gonna clear the cavalry in the bot lane instead. Do we get a camp invasion? It's a risky move. Anub'arak going to zone, but has to be careful because of the proximity of this camp to the towers. That said, the camp was taken. That's a good denial take. They're not going to be able to do anything really with it. But that said, it's going to set House of Chez up in a good position. Level 20 almost here, though. And level 20, that's going to be a big level. If Mephisto can actually get a kill with his ult, which to my knowledge he has not yet. But if he can get a kill with that ult, it will be very, very powerful. Garrosh checking the bottom boss. Are they going to start this? House of Chez rotating down. Looks like they're anticipating this bottom boss to be taken. Garrosh, meanwhile, though, just baiting, effectively. But with that, excuse me for the sneeze there. With that, Garrosh stepping up, once again focused on the Tychus. Doesn't quite land the combo. The Aegis comes in just in time. Caribou's Aegises have been game-changing. Here comes the ult, trying to get the kill onto Tychus, but it doesn't. That said, Thrall does go down, isolated from the rest of the team. So you don't get the reset from Ankle Shot, but you do get enough damage to secure this boss, and this boss will move straight on the core. It can be difficult to end with, but you can look towards the objective. That said, what is the play here? We're seeing a rotation towards the mid, into the top. Are they going to try to end the game here? Are they trying to end the game here, or are they just trying to bait backs? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they were trying to just see if they could get the kill before the boss was done. I don't know. I think it's ambitious to try to end the boss like that when it has 40 armor. Very ambitious. But here we go. Stepping up now, going to start the channel. 50 seconds. But everyone's out of the penalty box. Boss is going to be finished up by the core itself. And so we are going to see House of Chez rotate in here. Stukov in a questionable place. There's the focus onto Garrosh. Indomitable comes out. The chase is still there. Gul'dan getting the big Horrify. Can DeWitt survive this? He does, but Raynor completely separated out from the rest of the team is going to drop, and that just might be what House of Chez needs to win this game. Stukov is kind of stepping up a lot to try to drop a silence, trying to guess where the enemy team's going to come in. Going to be able to drop a silence there to stall for the time being. But that said, needs to be careful of the Thrall flank. Anub'arak coming in as well. Here comes the chase now. There's a flip. Good stun. Crystal Aegis comes out. DeWitt very low, and Garrosh is going to drop. Not going to kill anyone once again with the Mephisto ult, just blowing it a little bit too early. Silence there on the Gul'dan, trying to get the chase, but this is a 3v5, and the best thing I think you can do right now is just survive if you're on the side of Zul'jin Distillery. They stalled the channel for a long while, long enough to get Raynor back up, but Garrosh going to be in the penalty box for another 40 seconds, so you're really not going to have a chance to get this objective back. So now the best thing you can do, clear up the lanes, try to push them out, get your camp, but then just expect that you're going to have to defend and likely lose a keep here on the side of Zul'jin Distillery. On the side of House of Chez, meanwhile, now you kind of got to win the game here. You know, your core is still defending this bottom lane effectively, but you got to recognize, hey, you know, this is our opportunity to win the game. They're going to finish this objective right as Garrosh is coming back up. There's not going to be any stall. So now, what can they do with it? Are they going to try to focus top lane, or are they going to try to open up keeps? I think their best play at this point is to open up keeps to get the armor reduction on boss. And it looks like they're going to turn their attention to this mid lane. Bottom lane's still very, very pushed in at the moment. But it looks like now they're turning their attention to top, and I think this is a questionable decision at this point in the game. You know, if you already had 2 keeps down, absolutely do this. But there's a very, very big difference between 40 armor and 20 armor when it comes to, you know, because armor growth is exponential, 40 armor isn't just twice as good. It's more than twice as good as 20% armor. So we'll see. Here comes the engage now. Focus on the Misha. Raynor dropping the Hyperion, trying to zone off the members of House of Chez. Mariner has burrow charged in and is extremely low. There's the flip. Ult coming in. Not going to get a kill. Once again being used just a bit too early. DeWitt going to be able to walk away from the Draken Laser. Dragon Laser is low, but still alive at the moment. But a big silence by Stukov is going to secure 4 kills. My goodness. And now Caribou on the retreat. But this could be Zul'jin Distillery winning the series. Caribou is going to try to get away. At this point, Zul'jin Distillery needs to find a way to win this game. That's the first team fight they've won in a while, but they can ignore the cavalry in the bot lane and start to rotate towards bottom. Yes, there's a big difference between 40 and 20 in armor, but when you've wiped the entire team, you can do this, especially with the Raynor. Raynor going to be the big damage dealer here. Stepping up now. Stukov didn't need to heal people through this. Tries to go for a cheeky route there on Ariel. But the core is starting to drop. And I don't think House of Chez is going to be able to do anything about this. I think we are, in fact, going to see the end of our series here. Crystal Age is going to be used for some damage, but the core drops him back. Oh, Caster was not paying attention to that bottom lane. It was trucking. Caster bad. No, what? Hang on. Yeah, this is not right. This is not right. One sec. Alright, well, my webcam's not working, so guess we're not doing anything with that today. But we're still alive. Ariel stalled long enough. So we're going to game 3. Alright. Winyan's gonna win. Yeah, they should have left one to defend cavalry bot. I'll be honest, I didn't anticipate that. So I don't have my webcam working. That's a crazy day. Oh, this is why my webcam's not working. Hey, all right, working again. Getting my caster screen set up. Also, my backgrounds aren't working, and I think it's just I need to refresh. There we go. Hey, all right. Good enough for government work for now, anyway. So we're going to get set up here for game number 3. It's going to be the decider match. I was confused when I saw it, because I wasn't paying attention to Winyan's, which is why I don't shot call anymore. But we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez. We got a game 3. Be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Nexus Gaming Series. We got Game 3 in our hands. One team's dreams are going to continue unabated after tonight. They're going to move on to Division D East Finals against Probus with the chance to move on to the Division D Grand Finals. One team's season is over, and they'll have to come back in December when Nexus Gaming Series Season 8 kicks off. I'll be there. I'm sure both these teams will be there. They've been around a long time, but you never want your season to end on a loss. Yet, when you make playoffs, your season's probably going to end on a loss unless you go the whole distance. Doesn't make it feel any better knowing that. So both these teams going to bring all they got. That's that out of the gate standard bans. Both these games, pretty close. Second map actually extraordinarily close, but that said, when it comes down to it, Zul'jin Distillery had a chance to win that game, so they really thank you for the raid, Nexus Gaming Series. By the way, we are going to kick this over to Nexus commentaries after the series because there's a whole night of playoff action here in the Nexus Gaming Series, and there's a doozy on Nexus commentaries coming up after this match, so stay tuned. I'll throw the raid over there, but great to have all the viewers. Anubrak going to be the choice once again. I thought it was very effective for House of Chez last game, so that's going to be the choice they stick with. I think it's the correct one. I think it's absolutely the correct choice. Gul'dan going to be the choice here by Ankle Shot, so both a control pick, but also a denial, as we've seen Flash want to play that pair well with the Ariel. I expect, though, we'll see Caribou pick Ariel up here. Not with a Vala, certainly. But that said, Lunara is actually a pretty good pick into the Garrosh, and decent on this map, especially with the vision Wisp can bring. No, we're going to see the Stukov denial, so obviously a huge play at the end of the game by Led. That Stukov silence with all the other abilities almost won the game for Zul'jin Distillery. Yeah, well, I think there's a little bit of a traffic jam, but they're all kind of an hour apart. Next Sunday is going to be crazy because there's likely to be 3 best-of-5 series going on at the same time, so someone's going to have to get that Twitch multi-stream ready. I'm going to be casting the Division C West Finals next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So definitely check that out, but I like this. I like grabbing the Stukov here. I think Stukov is a good way to counter the Garrosh with the massive shove potentially, though you have to watch out for Indomitable. It's a great counter to the Gul'dan. There you see the Uther banned out, the common follow-up off the Garrosh. So at 8 o'clock is going to be Hodis versus Beast Coast. My goodness, you guys are getting a treat. That is a huge match. Hodis versus Beast Coast. The winner of that will move on to the Division B East Finals. B East has just been an absolutely crazy division.
Anytime you're ready.
But keep in mind, Arrow, that all the matches that are scheduled so far are best. Well, no, Wholesome Halfwits is now scheduled at 7:30, but that one's not a best of 5. That one's a best of 3. But yeah, the 3 later series are finals for coastal divisions. They'll be best of 5, so that's going to be pretty crazy next week. Deckard, Kane, good CC follow-up. Rainer, there it is. I thought we saw a little bit lacking CC follow-up from Garrosh flips in the last game, although granted the Ariel had a lot to do with that. We got an Alarak now. Okay. We have an Alarak. I was not expecting the Spanish Inquisition, nor was I expecting the Alarak. That is interesting. Tychus was exceptional last game. Give me more of that Tychus. There's the Leoric. And with the Deckard, I think that's a lot of good follow-up CC onto the Garrosh flip. Be fresh once again on Rainer. We're going to have Ankle Shot, though, have to be the focus of the damage there on Gul'dan. Going to be an interesting game. Anytime you see Alarak, it's really can be feast or famine. They're all best of 5. There's a Division A match scheduled at 7:30 now between Wholesome Halfwits and Sky 5. That one is going to be best of 3 because it's Division A. Man, this is interesting. So they're really putting a lot of faith into this Alarak play. So it's gonna have to be the difference here. So we'll go ahead and introduce the teams here in just a second as I'm still getting myself situated here. Hard to do this, hard to fly solo, but we do what we can here at the Nexus Gaming series.
The battle begins in 10 seconds.
But we can now go ahead and oops.
4,
All right. We're having issues here.
1.
Can't seem to alt tab over. We're now going to go ahead and introduce the teams. And they're not displaying. Yep. Hey, there they are. Mariners going to be on Anubarak, Chez mix on Thrall, Flash on Alarak, Death going to be on Tychus, and Caribou on Stukov. On the other side, DeWitt on Garrosh, Ankle Shot on Gul'dan, Be Fresh on the Rainer, Led on Deckard, and Cowboy Kyle going to be on the Leoric. I thought it was just Coastal Finals. My bad. My mistake. Anyway, right out of the gate, level 1 talents, always kind of critical to see what those are going to look like. As we see the mid lane going to be cleared up double by House of Chez. Zul'jin Distillery down here in the bot. Once again, seeing the corruption build out of Gul'dan. Alarak choosing to go with the Ruthless Momentum talent, which I have not seen a lot of that, admittedly. The reduced cooldown, that was, yeah. But with that, both teams kind of just content to rotate around each other. No one really committing to any fight, even up here in the top lane. Both teams, you know, they got to be nervous here, right? Because someone's season ends tonight. And we're going to see how these two teams adjust, how they play around that fact. But eventually someone's going to have to make the first move. Bottom camp should be grabbed here. Anub thinking about stepping up. Garrosh doing a good flip away to help secure that camp. Silence comes in from Stukov. Gul'dan actually trying to step up through it. Now backing up here. We can see Stukov going with that E build, so it's going to be a big focus onto blow-ups. As well as there's a lot of silences now. Pair that with Cocoon, there's a lot of ways to shut down ankle shots Gul'dan. No matter how effectively they do it. Deckard going with the Sapphire as well. That's going to be good follow-up CC. As well as, thank you, Potion of Shielding as opposed to Rejuvenation Potion. Well, I knew the Coastal Finals being best of 5 was new this season. I had just thought it was only Coastal Finals. Oh well, learned something new. With that, camp gonna be grabbed here. Mid camp grabbed by Zul'jin Distillery. Slight XP lead, about a third of a level. Well, I know Coastal Finals are just another semi-final, but really, like, you know, there's something special about Coastal Finals because of the round-robin format, I find. Anyway. Ooh, Alarak getting a big combo, hitting 3. Now DeWitt is just completely body blocked in. No amount of Potion of Shieldings here at this level are going to keep him alive. And all procced off by a really good telekinesis there from Alarak. As we see him go with the Show of Force. Interesting talent build for Alarak. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Ooh. A lot of damage onto Rainer. He's going to get the Potion of Shielding to stay alive for now. They're all trying to look in. Leoric trying to be disruptive, but this is really just a stall tactic as 5 minions away from a Mortar Punisher coming out for House of Chez. They try to get on to Anubarak. They don't. it's in fact going to be Leoric who dies here, and now Garrosh is just trying to run for his life. Telekinesis there from Alarak, but didn't have the follow-up damage. First 2 kills favoring House of Chez, and they get the Mortar Punisher. Leoric gonna come back up. There's a stun. Oh boy. That was a stun onto Deckard, and I don't think you want him taking that ability. He gets telekinesis and annihilated. So House of Chez off to a just very fantastic start here in this match. As now they've garnered themselves a slight XP lead, level 7 advantage for the time being. Going to end shortly. But they're all doing a good job getting some additional damage here in the bottom. Level 7's here, though, for both teams now. Always interesting to see what Deckard takes at 7. Reveals a lot about how they want to approach team fights. Going with Kanai's Cube, so going to try to reduce the damage there. Going to try to get them stacked up and reduce the output, especially you would think of the Alarak. That said, Caribou, oh boy, Caribou getting flipped and doesn't have anything like Aegis this time. Caribou is going to drop, but so does DeWitt there. 485 engaged. They managed to get the pick off. Leoric is away soaking at the time. Flash taking a lot of damage. He might get rooted. He does, and he gets popped by Beef Fresh. And so that's 2 kills now for House of Chez for 1. They do lose the Shrine, but they had Leoric away soaking during that duration, so getting themselves back even an XP here. They have lost front wall, but Raynor going to be able to clean that up. Possible pick attempt onto Leoric. House of Chez, they love to go for these kinds of picks. There's the stun. Following up, Leoric does go down. And remember, he cannot soak XP while dead. That said, already getting a W off, so we'll be back up very, very shortly. Invasion coming into the Bruiser camp. Let's see if Raynor rotates up. House of Chez really going all in for this Bruiser camp. Even Alarak taking the long rotation in. That said, they finish the camp and walk away. But keep in mind about stealing this camp is that it kind of just goes and feeds on keep wall at this point in the game. It's unlikely to go for fort unless you set up kind of some special scenarios. And so because of this, not really going to be super valuable. So a lot of resources committed for that. Down here in the bottom, meanwhile, Deckard getting ganked, but he is going to be able to walk away. The House of Chez is just trying to find ganks at the moment. There we go. So now, we are seeing a rotation up to the Bruiser camp on the side of House of Chez. Level 10's here. On the side of House of Chez, we got Cocoon, Flailing Swipe, which got a massive cooldown buff lately. It's a really good ult now, just because of the short cooldown. Ooh, Thrall might be caught out here. There's the flip. Thrall sunders out, he gets rooted. Thrall will drop. The Flailing Swipe, though, splits the members. And DeWitt's going to drop. The sleep comes in just a little late. There's the Cocoon onto Raynor. Mariner already trying to set up with Alarak to blow this target up. And down Raynor is going to go to the silence. Entomb comes in, but there's not really enough damage now. And now the question is, will Gul'dan be able to walk away? The question was so absurd that I couldn't even spit it out because Gul'dan was obviously dead at that point. And so they get the first kill, but that Flailing Swipe just disrupts everything they're trying to do. It gets them separated, and you just see the Cocoon onto Raynor. No one able to get on top of him. Garrosh dropping. Things fell apart pretty quickly there. And so Zul'jin Distillery going to maintain their lead and likely to get this Frozen Punisher. Gul'dan just now rejoining. 14 gems to 1 at the moment. They're going to need to steal some gems just to stall this out for Gul'dan to get here in time. But it's hard to do. 26 to 2. DeWitt stepping up, looking for someone to throw. But House of Chez is going to back up now, going to regroup, make sure that they're all on the same page about how they want to engage this. Cocoon is up now, so they're going to look to engage quick before Hyperion's available. There's a flip, but the Entomb is going to force Gul'dan into just an awful position there. Gul'dan drops. The Warlord's Challenge, though, going to enable the kill onto a Nubarak. Garrosh is so low, as is Leoric. Leoric does drop. Caribou, though, now going to get slept. Can they secure the kill? Caribou drops there, but so does Raynor on the turnaround there. And this is a frozen Punisher, so second Punisher of the game here for House of Chez. Zul'jin Distillery going to have to find a way to defend this. They have the Garrosh who can just Indomitable it. Alarak tried to go for a combo, just swung and a miss a little bit. Good zoning route there by LED just to make sure that his team has the time and space needed to clear this. Needs to avoid the route there. A couple routes land, but nothing serious. Punisher dives in. Good Horrify, putting an Uberak into a bad spot. He's going to be able to burrow charge away, though. Now Leoric is the one rooted in an awkward position, but he's actually going to be able to escape this. Some potions thrown down by Lead to enable him to come back in. Hyperion, great zoning, and so despite losing 2 Immortals so far, we have not lost a fort yet on the side of Zul'jin Distillery, and so House of Chez, great team fighting potential, but starting to show a little bit of a lack of siege potential here. So they're going to need to win some fights more decisively in order to get some push value, I think. And that's where Zul'jin Distillery could get back into this game and pull the upset, is they do have the better siege potential, and so they really only need 1 or 2 big team fight wins. On the other side, House of Chez, they're going to need to keep these team fights going like they currently are. DeWitt is going to spot the entire enemy team, walk in, get the big stun, Warlord's Challenge, but the Sundering from Thrall absolutely prevents the engage, and Gul'dan and Raynor just get annihilated, and Deckard is going to be the next to fall. And this is just styling at this point. Down goes Deckard Cain. That Sundering from Thrall was epic. Absolutely shut the door on Gul'dan stepping up and getting the big Horrify off the Warlord's Challenge. And without any support, Garrosh just dropped. So House of Chez now going to be able to grab their first fort. And now could actually run bottom and get some damage there as well if they wanted. Or push up this keep wall. They really have a lot of flexibility in their choice right now. They need to watch a Garrosh flip over the wall, but good recognition by House of Chez. As soon as you saw Garrosh come back up, they kind of started to back up off the wall. They're now just defending their Impalers. Leoric back up now, so it's 5v5 again. House of Chez close to level 16, up 16 kills to 5 at the moment, as they move back to do their Bruiser. And Zul'jin Distillery needs to find out what to do here. Are they going to invade this? Looks like they want this fight. This is risky, though. Raynor's in a bit of an awkward spot. And Uberak separate out from the rest of the team. There's the Warlord's Challenge. Flip onto Thrall. But once again, the Sundering just disengages that fight. And the Horrify not going to be enough. And now Chesmix has also popped Garrosh. And he's going to drop. And things are just starting to fall apart here for Zul'jin Distillery. And you can't help but think what could have been now. Looking back at how game number 2 ended. You know, but you got to just keep that out of your mind if you're Zul'jin Distillery. You got to keep out of the mind the fact that you're starting to lose this game. You really just got to focus on, okay, how do we find level 16 so Gul'dan gets his spike? Once Gul'dan gets his spike, these fights go very different. But at the moment, just nothing but struggles on the side of Zul'jin Distillery. Every time they approach these fights, they're getting the door shut on them by these Sunderings. And this is where, you know, that Thrall Earthquake is big. Everyone likes it for wombo combos right now. Sundering can be very good both as an engage, but also as a disengage tool. And so far it's playing off quite well. Not going to find level 16. They do have a fort here, so I'd actually really like to see Zul'jin Distillery just give this up, resign themselves to defend and keep. They are going to do a camp here. This is risky. They have a bruiser camp pushing top. I really think they need to just back off and clear lanes. This fort is forfeit. They need to really not try to defend it at all. They need to send someone to clear up this top bruiser camp, as it's already taken out a cannon wall. Is starting to work on the gate. There's a stun on the Gul'dan, and he might very well be dead at this point. Yeah, there's nothing they're going to be able to do to peel him out. Sleep is going to come out. I take that back. Caster Curse. There's the Caster Curse in full effect. Sunder going to able to stun on the Raynor. Telekinesis, but the root comes in. And if Raynor can get away, he has absolutely exhausted his 9 lives. And I didn't even know he was a cat. Arcane Punisher now needs to be bait over the wall, but that's actually been a really good defense so far by Zul'jin Distillery, so giving themselves a chance to get back into this game. And they have done just that. So, now a chance to get 16. They're going to have to find a fight quickly, though, as already we're seeing House of Chez on the march to level 20. Impaler Camp's getting grabbed while we see Zul'jin Distillery just continue to clear the lanes up. They have 16 now. They need to start looking for fights at this moment, as this is the best chance they're going to get. They have the extra stun from Garrosh now. They have the Deckard root damage. They have the Echoed, or not the Echoed Corruption, the Ruinous Affliction. But that said, right now they're kind of just standing around, and I don't know what they're doing. I know they don't see the blue team, but at this point it's like now they're just waiting to be engaged on, and that's kind of the bad situation. That's a Ruinous Affliction. Gonna do a lot of damage off that Entomb. The Sleep is going to enable to re-engage, and now, trying to get the throw onto Anub'arak for the stun, but actually helping Thrall escape there by Garrosh, not landing the stun because of the damage. Garrosh does break out of Cocoon, but at this point now, they're chasing, Draken Laser in the back. Deckard completely separated. The re-engage comes in. There's the root combo, and down goes 3. Alarak going to be the lone member of the blue team falling. Led, though, is not going to get out of this one. And that might be enough to end the game. Leoric going to be the sole defender here. And for Zul'jin Distillery, you kind of just are stuck wondering what could have been. Because I think the series is going to end here. 20 seconds in the penalty box. Is that enough to end? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. They're going to walk up and take Bruiser instead. They have a wave top they could try to push with the catapult and get some damage. But they're actually not going to look to end the game just yet. That said, with 6 forts up, it's going to take more than one team fight now for Zul'jin Distillery to win this set. And they are about to be down level 20 talent tier. DeWitt just trying to look for something, anything to get a flip stun. But just the Sunderings have made these fights so difficult to engage. Now House of Chez, they grab their Bruiser, and they are going to rotate down to the bottom, try to grab that bottom siege camp. Just keep forcing Zul'jin Distillery to clear lanes, thus giving them an even freer mid-Punisher. And this mid-Punisher will 100% end the game. It's going to be a 19-minute Punisher, I estimate. 19-minute Punisher. There's no keep to pull it to pull it behind. It will move straight onto core. That said, rather than look for the fight, Zul'jin Distillery is going to try to control the shrine. We'll see if this pays off for them. Maybe pressure a panic engage. Root comes in. There's a Ruinous Affliction, but doesn't manage to get the triple stack. Right now, 16-7, and House of Chez being very patient. They know their strength is in their counter engage rather than their straight engage. Hyperion coming in. Raynor is stepping up incredibly aggressively. Double Discord Strike there. There's the Stukov root combo landing on the 2. It's going to kill a couple of cow. Thrall comes in with the Sunder flank to disengage any attempt at that fight that Zul'jin Distillery maybe had. Deckard is somehow keeping people alive, but now he's in the cocoon, and I think DeWitt's going to fall, as is Gul'dan. Tychus did go down there, but now Deckard's gonna fall as well. Raynor gonna be the last, and that will be the end of the game. Frozen Punisher is up. It is moving to core, but it's not even needed. And oh man, House of Chez, they were challenged this series. They absolutely were, but Game 3 was all them. That said, I mean, you gotta look back at game number 2 and you gotta say, all right, you know, that's a rough way to end the season. The Winions win on bottom, not sending someone to clear it out, kind of underestimating the Winions on bottom with a cavalry. That's going to be it. House of Chez. After being almost dead to rights in this series, late in game number 2, they come back and they are going to take the victory, and they are going to move on here in the playoffs. So we set up Division D East finals, going to be here between Probus and House of Chez. And I just realized how completely fucked this bracket is. This bracket's kind of fucked up, not gonna lie. That said, because Probus beat Team Rectum to get to the semifinals, they beat Two Calculated Throw to get to the Coastal Finals. House of Chez, meanwhile, beat Tryhards. Zul'jin Distillery beating Church of Murky. Either way, we're going to see if we can do a post-game interview, so we'll be right back. Stay tuned, everyone. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll be right back. No sound there. Whoops. Anyway, we're back. I am joined by the captain of the victorious House of Chez. Excuse me.
You're good.
How you doing, Flash?
Oh, good, man. That was a good win.
That was. Almost wasn't, though. We'll talk about that in a bit. But heading into this series, I mean, you guys were the number 1 seed, so of course the expectation is you're going to get at least the divisional finals. I imagine that was the goal. So certainly you really wanted to win this series. But Zul'jin Distillery, a veteran team, they've been around NGS for a long time. What were your guys' thoughts heading into this series about the likelihood of a win and your goals for the match?
I mean, week 2 owed them during the season, so we definitely expected to win for sure. First game was a little wonky, as I'm sure you saw, but definitely worked out second and third game for us.
Yeah. Well, let's actually go back to that first game. So in the first game, you guys had I called it, and I didn't really mean it in a derogatory way, but I called it a meme combo more than once, just because of it seemed like the way you want to engage the fights were the judgment with the 2 lasers, right? The Planet Cracker and the Hinterland's Blast to try to blow up, typically Stukov. What made it difficult for you guys to execute that comp, and when you did execute, what made it difficult to kind of finish those kills, do you think?
It is we've I don't want to say we've rehearsed it, but we've played we call it double meme beam comp. So I mean, we were gonna try, like, you know what, let's go for it. It's the playoffs, let's pull out something a little bit different. So we went for it, but then their Garrosh, the taunt just screwed us up, plain and simple. We didn't engage correctly. They engaged before we got the chance to, which is exactly how they needed to win, and that's how they won it.
Right. And they did manage to win that. By the end of the match, I mean, I think it would be fair to say it was fairly convincing a win. Not dominant by any means, but fairly convincing. Map 2, you guys had a lead for a long time. So without getting to obviously the elephant in the room as to how Map 2 ended, what do you attribute your early success on that Map 2? Because you guys did generally pretty well, winning the first. I think you won actually every objective on that map.
Well, they picked Garrosh again, so we knew, or Garrosh and Stukov again, so we knew exactly what they were going to do. So we're like, okay, now let's just pick our anti-Garrosh counters, which, Gul'dan, Tychus, were able to just plow through Garrosh pretty easily. The Sundering worked out. No, like I said, I think they showed their cards a little early, especially because they played the same thing the last game. So we knew exactly how to respond.
All right, and that was good. But then, of course, they managed to win one team fight late, which almost ended the series. What do you think went wrong for you? Well, we'll talk about that, but what do you think went wrong for you just in that fight where it almost cost you? I mean, it almost ended your season, right?
Almost.
So what do you think went wrong for you guys there?
We had a little bit of a wonky engage. And by the time we tried to get out, Garrosh still had his flip ready, and they had taunt and all this other stuff going on. So the call was to back out, and they were able to chase us pretty good. And then Ariel was able to. Well, so they went for core, and I'm sitting there over comms. Our support players saying, GG, good season. And I'm like, nah, man, like we still have 2 keeps up. Like I really don't think they can end this, and especially because we still had the objective going, 2 keeps down. And I was like, I really don't think they can end this. And as soon as I was looking at the bars go down, I was starting to lose hope because ours was going down a little quicker, and then theirs caught up, and that was it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I actually completely missed it on the cast. I'm not even joking. Where I was in the boat of, this game's over, and I'm like, that's odd. The game seemed to end sooner than I expected. I thought the boss still had about 7,000. Oh wait, I completely whiffed on it, which is why I don't shot call anymore.
That's all right.
But with that, so that kept you guys alive. I mean, let's call that a bit of luck, which every team needs at some point in the season. That was your moment where you needed to flip the coin and have it land heads. Game 3, though. What do you think worked for you guys just so well on game number 3?
Same thing. They picked Garrosh first, and we knew how to respond. So we knew exactly what they were going to do. They didn't pair it with the Stukov this time, so we figured they were going to go some other stun, like Uther, which we banned, or I guess Deckard in this case. But like I said, they showed their hand a little early, so we just responded again.
All right. Well, with that, I mean, you guys dominated game number 3. You guys move on. You're going to face Probus in Division D East Finals. Give me a prediction. It's a best of 5 series.
Oh, it's best of 5. That's new.
Best of 5. Yep.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna give him a game. I'm gonna say 3.
You are as generous as you are, I'm sure, handsome. Giving them a game. So with that, we'll see next week. You guys get that scheduled.
Totally.
I'll definitely keep an eye out for it. But just for a note, there's already like 4 best of 5 scheduled next Sunday. Okay. So just be aware of that. But anyway, hoping to get a chance to watch it. With that, floor is yours for shoutouts.
Shoutouts to the whole team, man. Mariners, Caribou, Chez Mix, Death 1300s, Death of Icarus, who's not here, No Dice, who's probably playing WoW. And I think that's everybody. Oh, and Hurricane. Hey, Hurricane. He's on the team. He just hasn't played all season.
No worries.
But anyway, no, man, that was a good team win.
All right. Well, with that, unfortunately, that's going to bring an end to the season for Zul'jin Distillery.
They're a good team, man. Shout out to them, too. They were legit.
All right. But we are going to end this stream as well. And so we're going to go ahead and throw it over to Nexus Commentaries. They're bringing you Hodis versus Beast Coast, a huge matchup that you do not want to miss in Division B.